The mysterious disappearance of Émile Soleil, a case that still haunts France. Every mystery leaves behind a question. Every disaster leaves behind a story. Here at Mystery and Disaster Files, we uncover the real events, examine the evidence, and explore the mysteries that continue to puzzle the world. If you're ready to discover what really happened, let's begin. On July 8, 2023, 2-year-old Émile Soleil was spending part of his summer holiday with his grandparents in the tiny Alpine hamlet of Haut-Vernet in southeastern France. It was a place that seemed untouched by modern crime. Home to only a small number of residents, Haut-Vernet was surrounded by forests, steep mountain slopes, and narrow country roads. It was the kind of village where neighbors knew one another, where life moved slowly, and where children could safely play outdoors. No one imagined that this peaceful village would soon become the center of one of France's most puzzling investigations. That afternoon, family members were preparing to leave the house. During those ordinary moments, Émile was last seen outside. No one realized those would become the final confirmed moments before his disappearance. When his family noticed he was missing, they immediately began searching the property and the nearby roads, calling his name again and again. There was no reply. As concern quickly turned into panic, neighbors joined the search. But there was still no sign of the little boy. The authorities were notified, and within a short time, what had started as a family search became one of the largest missing child operations in modern French history. Hundreds of police officers, firefighters, soldiers, rescue volunteers, helicopters, drones, and specially trained search dogs were deployed throughout the mountains surrounding Haut-Vernet. Every path was searched. Every hillside was explored. Every nearby stream, ravine, and abandoned structure was carefully examined. Investigators believed that somewhere in the surrounding landscape, they would find the answer. Instead, every passing hour made the mystery even more difficult to understand. From the beginning, detectives considered every reasonable possibility. Perhaps Émile had wandered away and become lost in the mountainous terrain. Perhaps he had suffered a tragic accident. Or perhaps another person had been involved. At that stage, no theory could be ruled out. Soon after the disappearance, investigators received what appeared to be an important lead. 2 witnesses independently reported seeing a small child walking alone along a road near the village around the estimated time of Émile's disappearance. If those sightings were accurate, they could represent the last moments anyone saw him alive. But after those reports, nothing. No confirmed sightings. No footprints leading investigators in a clear direction. No evidence explaining where he had gone. The search continued for days. Then weeks. Every morning brought renewed hope that someone would finally discover a crucial clue. Every evening ended with disappointment. Search teams returned repeatedly to the forests and mountains surrounding the village. Helicopters flew overhead. Drones scanned difficult terrain from above. Search dogs followed every possible scent. Yet despite the enormous effort, Émile remained missing. If you're enjoying this investigation, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Mystery and Disaster Files. It helps us bring you more real mysteries, historic disasters, and true stories from around the world. As time passed, the investigation entered a new phase. Detectives continued interviewing residents, reviewing witness statements, reconstructing the timeline, and examining every lead that could help explain what had happened during those critical moments on July 8. But despite months of work, investigators still had no definitive answer. Then, nearly 9 months after Émile disappeared, the investigation took a heartbreaking turn. In March 2024, a hiker walking near Haut-Vernet discovered human remains in a remote mountain area. Authorities immediately secured the location. Forensic specialists carefully examined the scene. Soon afterward, investigators confirmed the devastating news. The remains belonged to Émile Soleil. For many people following the case, it seemed the mystery had finally been solved. Instead, it had only entered a new chapter. Investigators now faced an even more difficult question. Not where Émile was, but how he had died. Forensic experts examined the remains and the surrounding area in an effort to reconstruct what had happened. Investigators also considered why the remains had not been found during the extensive searches conducted shortly after his disappearance. Authorities have urged the public not to jump to conclusions, noting that mountainous terrain is extremely difficult to search and that environmental conditions can affect what investigators are able to find. Since then, detectives have continued working to establish exactly what happened. While several possibilities have been examined, authorities have not publicly announced a definitive conclusion regarding the circumstances of Émile's death. The investigation remains focused on following the evidence wherever it leads. For Émile's family, every new development has brought renewed grief. For investigators, every piece of evidence continues to be examined with care. And for millions of people who followed the story, one question remains unanswered. How could a 2-year-old disappear so completely from such a small village? Perhaps one day investigators will uncover the evidence needed to fully explain what happened on that summer afternoon. Until then, the disappearance of Émile Soleil remains one of the most haunting and heartbreaking mysteries in recent French history. Thank you for watching. If you found this documentary informative, consider liking this video, subscribing to Disaster and Mystery Files, and turning on notifications so you don't miss future documentaries exploring real mysteries, historical events, and disasters from around the world. And remember, when it comes to real investigations, the facts matter. The truth is often far more complex than the theories that surround it. Every mystery has a different theory, and your opinion matters. Leave your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for new videos every day, and join our community as we uncover the world's greatest mysteries and disasters, one case at a time.